Good day everyone, this is Alvin again from the Philippines and welcome to my review of episode 1 for Mr. Supranational 2024. Welcome. So the super chat for Mr. Supranational has already started with episode 1, and the men in this group were Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Paraguay, Spain, and Venezuela. And one of these men will proceed to the next round and will be the eventual winner of the super chat, who will be getting a spot in the first cut, which is top 20. Now, after listening to all the answers, the responses from all these 5 men, I will be making my reviews, and then at the end of the video I will be naming who my winner is, the winner that I submitted as my choice for the win for this group. But of course, there's always a way for you to change the outcome for this semifinals, because the result is determined by 50% jury votes and 50% audience vote. So you could be able to download the app and vote for your favorite in this group. So let's begin with the Dominican Republic. Bray Vargas. I was actually quite impressed with Dominican Republic's introduction. His achievements and his works are quite impressive. For the second round, I really love his answer. It was personal, it was sweet, and I'm so glad that he used that moment to pay tribute to his mother. For the third round, he decided to speak in English. It was okay, but if you really wanted to push for English, he really needs to work on the sentence and thoughts construction and presentation. If you would ask me, I think he can express himself better when he speaks in his own language. Still, I commend him for trying his best. And for the last question, although I was looking for examples and specifics, I still think he gave a satisfying answer. And the last line, or the last 2 lines of his answer in the last question, were the strongest points. Overall, I think Dominican Republic did great. Next we have Ecuador. Fernando Mendieta. Just on the intro alone, I already fell in love with how spontaneous, how talkative, and how lively Ecuador was. He was able to talk about his love and experiences for travel during the second and third round of the super chat. It was an easy round for him because his answers were all based on his experiences, and what I love about him is that he just magnetizes you with his charisma, facial expressions, and his personality, and the way he expresses his thoughts. I was quite excited with the last round because the question would be something unexpected. As what I've said earlier, the earlier questions are very connected to his profile, which is about traveling. But the last question comes in a very unexpected way. So I believe that this would truly test him. And as much as I love Ecuador in the first 3 rounds, I have to say the last round was a little disappointing. The thoughts and the way he expressed his thoughts about the question were all over the place. I actually get what he's trying to say, but I felt like it wasn't presented very well, and there could be much better ways to present his thoughts. Also, another note for improvement for him is that I wish he could minimize or eliminate saying "you know," because every time he responds to the question, it's a little bit distracting, and I couldn't keep the count on how many times he said "you know" every time he responds to the question. So hopefully he could work on that. Overall, his energy is something that I really love, and I love his natural way of expressing himself. Next, Paraguay. Osvaldo Orue. Paraguay was quite a decent performer at this round. He answered the question quite well, and he delivered them confidently and with conviction. And I wish that he won't be overlooked just because he used an interpreter. His answer in all rounds were quite good. And I think if I have to compare him with the other men in this group, there are some men where there were questions or there were rounds where I didn't like their answers. Unlike Paraguay's case, where I like his answers in all rounds. and I think he's quite an interesting and a solid candidate. And I like all his answers. He delivered them very well. And I also have to add that he was very handsome and charming at this round, so I really like him a lot too. Next, Spain. Álvaro Hermes. First of all, let me just commend Spain for doing his best to express himself in English in all rounds. I mean, that was surely commendable. Now, Spain is very interesting to me because for round 2, 3, and 4, he's got very diverse question. And I think he was truly tested in terms of public speaking here. For round 2, I love how he shared his story on why he decided to become a plastic surgeon. I think that was well presented. For round 3, this is an interesting round because he was asked why male pageants isn't on the same level as the female pageants, and I can just say that his answer here was the winning answer. Loved it very much. This is definitely the round where he gathered most points from me. Of course, delivery in all rounds could still be polished and improved, but I love his way of thinking and the way he expressed his thoughts at this round. It was an excellent answer. For round 4, he is very smart for associating the answer about artificial intelligence with his profession that he's got. And although he was quite struggling because he's sometimes looking for words that he would be using in responding to the question, but I got his point and what he was trying to say, and I think his overall point and thoughts were incredible. Overall, he did an extremely good job in all rounds of the Super Chat. And finally, Venezuela. Marco de Freitas. For Venezuela, I really like how he mentioned about his viral photos in the introduction, months prior being an altar boy and now being Mr. Supranational Venezuela. That truly became viral and I loved it very much. For round 2, he was asked about his transition from his previous career to modeling. I was really trying my hardest to convince myself to like him at this round, but I was really expecting more from that round. He mentioned about being a journalist to model. He could have cited some comparisons and similarities, and by focusing on those, he could have created a much stronger response, because to be honest, his answer at that round was a bit so-so. For the third round, I was actually quite expecting a different answer, but I was quite surprised with how he has given us a different answer that moved into a different route. And I think at this round, he quite redeemed himself with his answer. And I really have to give it to him too for round 3. And for the last round, I really like how firm he is when giving his answer while delivering and presenting his answer. And actually, it was quite good. It would have been perfect if he cited at least 1 or 2 specific examples. But overall, Venezuela did great. I would love to see him work and polish his delivery, be firm with it, and be confident with the way he delivered and present to us his answer. But overall, I like Venezuela. So, after assessing all the performances of these 5 men in episode 1, I can reveal that my winner here is Spain. Álvaro Hermes. I mean, that is a clear and runaway winning performance for me. He was so good in all rounds, well-delivered answers, well-delivered in terms of presentation. So well done to Spain. And of course, as what I always say, if you don't like my choice to win, you can always change the outcome by voting for your favorite in the app, in the Mr. and Miss Supranational app. So, do we share the same thoughts? Don't forget to leave your comments below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and share the video as well. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe because you'll be seeing more of these videos in the future. For now, thank you very much and have a wonderful day from the Philippines.